Wilcox. Go ahead and let me know if you have questions by putting it in the chat. We'll go ahead and get started with Jeff Ferrato. Go ahead, Jeff.
Justin, when you're in a rough patch like this, is there anything different you can do to change things up, or how do you approach that? Or do you just kind of try to stay with what you do?
Well, we're always trying to improve, Jeff. And so in terms of different, we're not going to scrap the entire offense, defense, and special teams and start brand new. But we're always looking to improve schematically what we're doing as coaches, what we're doing at practice, the skills that we're developing that we need to continue to develop so we can come out victorious. And so I wouldn't say it's always the same. You're always looking to get better. Our general structure is, familiar, but we're always trying to find ways to improve the players and what we're doing as a program.
Do you have concerns about your team's sort of emotional health, given, as it regards football, given how difficult a stretch you're going through?
Well, the guys are competing very hard. I thought they competed extremely hard Saturday. Everybody is obviously frustrated and disappointed. Nobody expected us to be here, in terms of what our win-loss record is. We have a chance to play a lot more football and finish the season right, but it starts with, what we do in practice today. And we have a very, very strong group of leaders on the team who care a great deal about their football experience, their teammates, and our team. And, not everybody's the same. There's 115 guys. So some guys, there are a few, it's just much more difficult for them to go through some adversity. I think that's life in general, but the overwhelming majority of guys are very, choosing optimism and going to continue to work hard and drive on.
On a different topic, can I just get you to give us an update on any injuries you have, and the weekly coin ding question, and then anybody else who may or may not be available for this week?
Yeah, nothing new on coin dang as of right now. Really from the game, there's not much that came up in the game. We expect to have Lou Hearns back this week. And so that's probably the news of note.
And you expect him to be back in the starting lineup, or not sure?
Yeah, if Lou's ready to go, he'll be in the starting lineup.
All right, thanks.
Okay, we'll go to Trace Travers. Go ahead, Trace.
Yeah, Coach, I wanted to ask about McCade as well, because he went down during the first half. Will he be back for this Saturday as well?
Yeah, we expect McCade to be back for Saturday's game.
How did Brian Driscoll do filling in for him?
I thought he competed hard. Brian's a very strong physical guy. He wasn't perfect throughout the game. Nobody was, but I thought he went in there and operated with confidence and knew the calls and, competed really hard.
And on the other side of the line there, Will, he had a tough assignment to begin with, but he seemed like he struggled a little bit throughout the second half. What do you do with him to make sure he keeps his confidence up moving forward?
Just continue to work the technique and trust in the technique. Will's a talented guy, and I think he has a lot of good football in front of him. On
another note, I was curious about, this isn't really related to games at all, but how do you guys track a stat like missed tackles throughout the season? Because it looks like you guys are tackling a bit better over the past few weeks.
Well, we track it by position and by game. So we keep all of them. So we know the tackling efficiency for every player and for every game. I don't have it in front of me. I think there are, there's times and we are tackling better, and a lot of that has to do with your effort to the ball and keeping proper leverage on the ball. We had a couple opportunities that we didn't take advantage of on the quarterback. We had I think 3 times, two of them for sacks and one on a scramble that we didn't finish on the quarterback. So that was unfortunate, but it's something we're always going to practice and we're always going to drill. We do it every day, and we're going to continue to do that because tackling is a critical component of playing good defense. And we've had some good and some not so good. We're always looking to get better there.
On that front, do you have I guess a benchmark that you aim for, not as in terms of numbers?
You want to make every single one of them. I mean, with proper leverage. I don't know if that's reality, especially when you play, more explosive players are harder to tackle than less explosive players, right? So we want to be 100%. I don't know that that's ever happened, but the other thing is we're trying to, create numbers to the football. And so if we do miss one, that the yards after contact are limited. That's another big one that we talk about as well. So.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, we'll go to Steve Kroner from the San Francisco Chronicle.
How you doing?
Hi.
Good. Hey, one general question and one more specific. The general, kind of hearkening to what Jeff was asking, the old Bill Parcells line is, you are what your record says you are. Do you believe that, or do you believe there's more to it than that?
Well, when it comes to the win-loss column, that's all there is. Okay, so we are all, as I mentioned, frustrated and disappointed in the way we've started the season, the first half. I don't see, there's been opportunities in every game to win the game. Ultimately, the stat that matters is winning and losing. However, our job is to, identify the plays and or skills that are needed to come out on the other side of that thing. And we've been close, and they don't count close in wins and losses. I don't also see the players not wanting to come to practice and not compete. I mean, the guys are working at practice, they're competing in the games, and we got to continue to do that because that's how, you create momentum, and that's how you get victories is, continue to work on your deficiencies. So that's what we're doing.
All right. One bright spot I thought in the game Friday night was the play of Christopher Brooks. Was that a function of that specific game plan? When you mentioned that he had been getting healthier, that certainly was maybe his best game individually this season. What made it feasible for that to be his best game?
I think a combination of all those things. I think he's back kind of closer to 100%, in season healthy, as we call it.
Yep.
And I think he ran strong. He ran through some tackles. He broke some tackles, which you need to do, whether, and at this level of football, you either got to break tackles or you got to make somebody miss. And Chris did that both ways during the game on Saturday. And it was great to see him out there and had some really physical runs for us. And, O-line had some really good moments there, 2 tight ends, everybody blocking, the receivers were blocking. And Chris was able to get some very productive runs.
Okay, we'll go to Jim McGill from Bear Insider.
Coach, for the most part, the defense played admirably against a pretty explosive offense. Looking at the film, were you able to tell what happened on those 2 drives where they cut through the defense pretty easily?
Well, it was a function of the plays within the drive. So, I mean, I think which one do you want to talk about? I mean,
First one in particular, the 6-play one.
It was up on the 1st and 20, the screenplay. That was a critical down for the defense. They got a holding, and we get 1st and 20. We ran, rush 4 guys and played coverage, and we didn't feel the screen up front. And then we had a hard time getting off the blocks to get the guy on the ground. He's a fast back, and that was a big play during that series. The other one, they got down there, and we had a couple chances to, the quarterback run game hurt us a couple times. Just they create numbers with the QB runs, and we weren't maybe doing a good enough job fitting that or getting off a block to get him on the ground. And then I think the quarterback scrambled for a touchdown. We covered him. It was a 4-man rush. We covered him well, and then we lost leverage on the quarterback as he scrambled for a touchdown. So there was a number of plays within those drives, but it wasn't necessarily new scheme by them or us. It was just the level of execution.
Okay. On offense, the season would look a whole lot different if your red zone efficiency were at least a bit better. How do you address something like that?
Well, we continue to emphasize it and talk about it and practice it. And then it's the plays within the red zone, executing the play. Well, increase the red zone efficiency. So we have red zone periods, like we always do, and we'll continue to emphasize the plays within those red zone periods. But you're right. I mean, we've got to do a better job scoring touchdowns in the red zone. I think that a number of those games will probably feel differently.
The Colorado had been struggling a lot this year, but they seemed to really put it together last weekend. Did they do something different?
No, I think they've played a very difficult schedule. I don't know that their record is indicative of the type of team they are. So if you watch their games and I know who they're playing, I think they have a good football team. They're a very mature physical group on defense. A lot of older guys and play very aggressively. And then on offense, they got a good running back, quarterback can run and throw it, and they got some weapons on the outside. So it'll be a good challenge for us. And they played very, very well in all phases, offense, defense, and special teams against Arizona.
Thanks.
Okay, we'll go back to Trace Travers with Rivals.
Yeah, Coach, at least from my eye test, it looks like Jeremiah Hunter is playing at a real high level for you guys, a wide receiver. Is there any way to maybe manufacture more touches for him? Because every catch he had against Oregon went for over 20 yards, and you guys have been in need of explosive plays throughout the years.
Yeah, Jeremiah is doing a really good job. He is getting better and better with each game. He's still, learning the detail of college football, but he is a guy that can make big plays. You hit it on the head. So we do have things that are designed to get him the football, and we are, and that requires other parts of the offense as well. Whether it's protection, QB, run game, it all has to work together. But there are certainly things in there for him, and we're going to try and get him the ball, in certain spots to take advantage of his skills, because he's got some really good playmaking skills.
Thank you.
Okay, go back to Jeff Ferrata.
Justin, you referred to Colorado playing a tough schedule, and they certainly did. Offensively, they struggled parts of the year through that schedule, but the one strength of their team pretty consistently has been their defense. I wonder, what are you seeing that makes their defense so effective?
Yeah, they're very good defensively. That's obvious when you put the tape on. They're a veteran group. They got a large number of guys that are, either transferred in or junior college, and they're physical up front. They're very, very physical front. Their defensive line, their inside linebackers, and the cover guys are really quick, and they play a lot of kind of in-your-face man-to-man coverage and get after people, and they've done it versus everybody. So they've done a really nice job on defense, throughout the season. I mean, you look at, I think early in the season, they played A&M and held them to 10 points. And that's a difficult task. And they've played some, like I said, some very talented teams, but they've played really good defense throughout the year.
And on a different topic, the news of the day in college football yesterday was obviously Nick Rolovich being out at Washington State because of his vaccine position. What was your reaction to that? Were you surprised, or what did you think when you heard it?
Not much surprises me anymore in our profession. I don't know the detail other than what's reported, and I don't know that would be something to have an opinion on. So I know, the obvious, but not being there, not understanding maybe the details of it, I'm just gonna, stay away from that. Really not anything for me to comment on. I'm more concerned with what we're doing in practice today and the game this weekend.
I understand. Thanks.
Anybody with the final question for Coach? Okay.